What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today we are looking at the Perfect World Major Shanghai 2024 RMR Europe B. Damn, that's a mouthful, but on the screen here is my lineup for Group A. Pretty good. I mean, top 10%. We're gonna take it. Unfortunately, I was like top 3% before Cloud9 had to play against FaZe, and then they lost there. Not a huge amount of minus points from that, but still enough to drop me out of the top 10. Top 5 into the top 10. And then Navi, I guess losing to Mouse is the real problem for this, not doing even better. But I'm pretty happy with Cloud9 as a pick. I believe it would have been Heavy God that you should have gone for. Yeah, Heavy God and Icy would have been like a better combination in the end, with like double up on Mouse and then Apex. I would have been the best like fifth. But I can't be too unhappy with this either. We are kind of climbing up the leaderboard, even though there's absolutely no chance for like a top 10. But I'll take at least the ego lift from getting slightly better points at the end here. But yeah, let's get into Group B. I actually haven't thought about my lineup for this group too much, so it's gonna be pretty unfiltered in terms of like I haven't pre-watched or pre-looked at the matchups and who I think is gonna do well and all of that stuff. Most picked players, mostly from G2, and all 5 G2 players in the top 8 most picked. We'll see what the prizes are like. Spirit, only Chopper makes it up here, and then Major and Wycadia from Eternal Fire. That makes sense. Major usually a pretty good pick in this kind of event. In this, I mean, again, I don't like using this that much because just a couple results going the other way could be a big problem. But as a guideline, I would say let's look at the first round matchups, for example, because that's something we do know. I would expect G2 to always beat NIP, even though it's a best of one. I would expect Spirit to always beat Bait, Eternal Fire to beat Aurora. This I could see going either way. VP is bad enough, and Passion UA has been kind of decent. That this could go either way in the best of one. I'm gonna avoid picking either of these teams, to be honest. Heroic probably should beat Parivision. I think Heroic have been okay lately. I would expect them to make it through this stage and make it to the actual major. And then Parivision hasn't been too convincing lately. Astralis, of course, playing without device. I would assume Cadian's gonna be AWPing for them. And Bro is standing in. I think it might actually work fine for them. I think they might just make it through, but I don't feel comfortable enough to pick them either. Just a bit too uncertain. Nine Panda's also an okay team. Could beat them in a best of one for sure. Big versus Sashi. I mean, pretty tough to predict. I think Big usually is pretty poor. Sashi's kind of meh. One of them's gonna win. I don't really consider either of those teams here. 3D Max could definitely be one of those teams that makes it through. Big could also make it through, but I would say 3D Max is maybe a bit favored above them. And then TSM, we've seen nothing really that would make me wanna pick them. They're like the last seed as well. It's just everything goes against them here. So in general, teams I would like to look at here as potential picks, mostly it's just G2, Spirit, Eternal Fire in my eyes, honestly. Like, these are the 3 teams I would be looking at. Heroic, maybe. I wouldn't be mad if someone said they're gonna go like double up on Heroic even. Depends a bit on the prices. The prices aren't that great, in my eyes. Their rank is pretty good. I guess that is reflected here. Like, their rank is actually 7th for HLTV, so that has to mean that they are a bit more expensive. In terms of like, I'm trying to think of like, should I go for a cheap filler team? Because I think I'm gonna double up on Spirit every time, because I do expect them to make it through quite cleanly. It would be nice to go for a Donk lineup. I feel like he's gonna essentially just kind of farm these noobs. Yeah, I kind of want to go for a Donk lineup, so I'm trying to think of some potential good cheap options. Joko could be one of those to me. Like I had him and Essential actually pretty similar as picks, I guess. Playing for a team that I think could definitely make it through, could also not make it if they don't play well in the best of ones. But I would expect at least one of these maybe to make it through. High headshot percentages, so that would make sense for the role. Maybe I favored 3D Max a bit more to make it through the RMR, but Essential is 1k less. Rigon kinda similar, I guess, as a fifth pick. I'm not really looking to go with any of these teams here. None of the players on these teams, no. Yeah, we're gonna ignore all of these teams because they're just too uncertain. Like, there's some slots for these teams making it through, but I really don't know who to go for. And unlike the Cloud9 gamble, which I made in the first RMR or the RMR A, I don't have a strong enough feeling about any of these teams or players where I'm like, that's way too good of a value pick for this team and this player. Like Sashi could be a team that you could go for. I could see them having a run here. I don't know. Of course, NIP could do something, but they're also playing with a standing. So like, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna stick with some of the better teams. I definitely am looking at a Donk lineup. I think if you go Donk, you probably don't go G2. Can you even go Donk G2 here? 182. There's probably some players here, yeah, but I would rather avoid these players if possible at all. I mean, someone like Iceberg I know has been kind of decent for me in the past in some events. If you look at event ratings, he was fine in Yala Compass, but Sashi just as in general, like, doesn't seem like they are having the best results lately. I guess this is fine. This looks completely okay. Losing just to Eclot, who was at least 2-2 in the major. Yeah, I think they're now 2-2. But also beating Eclot earlier. Beating OG and Rebels. It's like very mixed results. So if you want to go for a gambly pick, he's the cheapest player in the whole event. And he plays for a decent enough team, and he could offer up decent enough value. I'm not... What is their seed as well? I think there's a second last seed, which does make things harder for them, because like they have big in the first matchup. What if I just gamble and on the fact that Sashi actually wins one of these? But then they have to play against like a G2. But then I have a chicken booster user. This is what it looks like when I'm a bit less filtered with my thoughts here, I guess. We can't upgrade Hunter into anyone else though. That's a bit tough. I only could get like Malbs here. What if you go Eternal Fire instead of G2? Then you probably can do stuff with Iceberg. Zantares has been kind of a letdown lately, but what if you go Woxic? Leaves a bit too much in the bank. Can you go Calyx Vicadia? You can. But what if you just go like, instead of Calyx Vicadia, you go like Vicadia Major? Who can we get then? 183. There's like Essential, who I still think is better than. It's also a pretty decent budget pick. I think he's the best player at this price point, him or Joko. If you look at recent results, what are the recent results like for these two players? Under pick. Yeah, this is, yeah, did well here. And Joko, I mean, Essential only challenger Katowice. So they got second and he still had really bad ratings. That's always a bit of a tough one for me. Like if you do well in a tournament, same with Elisa Masters, honestly. If you do well in an event and still don't really brag or have good ratings, it's pretty low sample size. It's pretty normal sample size, I guess. What if you do want to go for... I'm not that convinced about G2 just because I think the prices are kind of crazy. Nico for 218, I can see that, but he also has some fall off events, and I don't know. I really want to go for the Stonk guy. Shiro has been very decent lately as well, though. Like, I wouldn't be mad to go with Shiro. Or if I had to go with Shiro. Or, honestly, any of the Spirit guys. They're decent enough pricing-wise, I think. Bizontix, of course. Then you can probably do something. You do this? Iceberg you can, or Quez even. Going for the Kovaches. I haven't gone for a G2 lineup in a long time. So it is kind of interesting to me as an option. How has Hunter looked lately, results-wise? Or like rating-wise? Ooh, not very good. I really hate to see this be that low. Max was fine, right? Event win. Well, yeah, he was better, at least, than in other events. I don't know if I want to go for snacks. I feel like there's some potential to... Like, I rate someone like Chopper so much higher as an individual player. I think Chopper's gonna actually... Like, he's capable of fragging against these teams. Honestly, of course, would be crazy to have, but... Or, like, crazy good to have, but... It could be a heroic pick, honestly. Like, Tessus has been looking kind of crisp. And I really like Shush. Dexter could wake up for an RMR. Or even Nerds is honest. Nerds had some massive stats in some game. If you go for this, then you can go for Iceberg again. Or then we can't really, yeah. Heroic are kind of hit or miss, but I would expect them. They're usually a hit against like slightly weaker teams. Like this is pretty decent results overall though. Like even if you would want them to like win at Rio or Espo, or not Rio, but win at Espo and win the Thunder Pick thing. But still they're consistently doing well. So I'm actually gonna go Heroic. It seems like a smart idea with these prices. I'm not sure about Tessus. Tessus has been great lately though. Yeah, like really great lately. Okay, I don't think I can actually ignore those stats from Tessus lately. And then Nerds was pretty damn good. The potential to pop off is pretty high. Then if you go Chopper Zontix, of course you could go like Chopper. I think Chopper is pretty much locked if you go Level Spirit. If you go Magics with him, there's no one really I would want. So I think it is Zontix alongside him. And then Iceberg rather than these guys. Yeah. I don't rate those players or that team as much as I do rate Sashi in some respects. Okay. I like this team actually. I don't have the gold in the middle. So this achieves it. I think it's a fair gamble to make. Go with Heroic here. And I think Spirit's just the kind of team that's really high probability to go 3-0. And then I think Sashi's potentially fine, and you can always chicken out on some of the really hard matchups, but they've got big first, so no need to think about that first. I also think, yeah, these are pretty good first matchups. I think Spirit's actually kind of hard first matchup, but still not that hard either. Yeah, instead of, I think this is the best on every time. Or is it on you? Which one gets this? We'll think about that next. Headshot's probably on Tess's, right? 47-39. Yeah, that's it. Nerds probably like multi-fragger, 38-40. 38-54 on entry. Damn, okay. It's that. Zontics. Could be something like these. Actually interesting. What you should go for? Oh, support, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. The whole team is just 3 support players around Shiro and Donk. So, then Iceberg. Yeah, it's between like Iceberg on eco-friendly or Iceberg could be on noob, but I don't like that. Be eco-friendly here. What do we then put on Chopper? Like leader? Leader, Chopper. They clear the best of ones usually. Let's do this. Seems logical. Yeah, rolls are fine as well. So boosters, yeah, right. I'm gonna do that off video. Maybe I should someday show you how I do it, but the basic idea is just I look at what each player's best boosters are, or what booster is best for which players, and then I pick some of the worst boosters out of those for the best of ones, and then save some of the better ones for the best of threes. That's the basic idea, at least. It's not rocket science, but it does need to be actually looked at in a bit of a systematic way. But yeah, happy about how I did in the first two, honestly, first two RMRs. Hoping to make it 3 out of 3. I don't count the Asia RMR. Not that I did that poorly in it. I actually didn't show you how I did in the Asia RMR last time. I don't think I did. I forgot, or I didn't actually apply all of the boosters. Yeah, I didn't apply all of the boosters. If I did, maybe I would give it higher even, but it's not that bad. But yeah, without going on waffling too much, if you enjoy this kind of content, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.